in and flew us in from Columbia to Atlanta. That was a fun little trip. It was kind of fun in a way because I mean we bust to Delaware. I mean, so you come back and take the plane to Atlanta. You know, it was truly an exciting kind of opportunity that way. So we've got to thank all of the folk that involved here with the Celebration Bowl and say that it was truly a pleasure to be a part of this particular fair this way. We look forward to seeing if we can come out on Saturday and play against these Jackson State Tigers. Everybody knows Jackson's the favorite. We all know that they've got Dion and all of his highfalutenness and all the different kinds of stuff. I was a fan when he was playing for everybody. For two teams. He played football, basketball, and baseball, and track and golf and all that kind of stuff at the same time. So the guy, you know, is probably the, I guess maybe top all-around athlete maybe of all times as far as I can remember doing our generation here. So the guy's been fantastic as far as his athleticism and his play and all these different. And then on top of that, then the guy comes in, you know, and makes the coaching game look easy. He's been here for less than a year, and he's won all the top awards. I've been coaching for 45 years. They hadn't had, you know, some of these accolades and stuff of that kind that he's had. So it's been a fun run to see him rise to the top of the league, and he's done a little bit for us all. I gotta be honest and say that I'm sure some of the numbers that we've had as far as the record ticket sales and that kind of stuff are somewhat, I guess, dependent upon the fact that, you know, that he's got there doing what he does. But South Carolina State folk have done a nice job themselves. We've been extremely excited about this thing. The build up from the time that we won our conference to now, you know, has been tremendous in the way that our fans have gotten excited about and done, you know, a great job of coming together and being a part of this thing too. So I'm looking forward to seeing our fan base out there against their fan base, along with the fact that our team is going to be against their team. Our band is going to be against their band. So this is going to be a fun experience for us all. So I'm looking forward to this and many, many more Celebration Bowls to come, because I think we've got something here. I think we got a model that might be good as ever. Y'all ready for me to shut up? Rick?
No, I'm ready for
No,
some
yeah, I
questions.
know you're okay.
The floor is now open.
Thanks
for
so much,
questions.
everybody, for being here again. All right, let's go, Rick. Let me do that. All right.
We're going to that.
All right.
Joe Cook, WAPT down in Jackson. Good to see you, Ben Coach, right here in the back.
Where you at? Raise your hand.
Right here.
Oh, I got you. Go for it.
Yeah, Coach, what kind of challenges does Jackson State present on, you know, both sides of the ball for your team?
Well, defensively, they got a little more defensive line than any usual championship subdivision team this size ought to have to try to block. They're extremely highly skilled in the secondary, so they can play a lot of man coverage on you and make you, you know, really hurry to get the football off, because you don't necessarily have very much time. Their defensive front's so good, so you know you don't have much space with your receivers because of the fact that they do such a good job of playing tight coverage on you. Then you don't have much time because of the pass rush. So they've given up 21 points a game. The max points, they've given up is 21 points in a game. So you're talking about a situation where they don't give up any points and they score pretty good. And then on top of that, their defense scores points on you too. So they hurry up and get you a little bit out of your norm, out of your regular, and get you into a point where you get out of your comfort zone, and then they make you do something that's out of character for yourself. So then you end up giving up a score, something of that kind. You give up a score in the kicking game, you know, some of that kind of stuff. You know, that makes it, you know, really tough for you on your offensive side. Then defensively, well, their offense versus our defense, the kid throws the football around. He can make all the throws, and he's got an all-star cast of receivers and skilled guys in general. So, you know, they give you all the different kinds of pressure. They can block you up front on the offensive front, so they can run it. They don't run the ball, you know, any unusual amount, but they can throw the hang out of it. And, you know, you get to the point where, you know, you got to really back off them a little bit because of the fact that they got so much speed on the perimeter and that kind of stuff that it gives you, you know, a tough time to win. That's kind of my breakdown of what, you know, they're about as far as an offensive and a defensive style football team.
Coach in the very back standing up.
Coach, back here, Matt Vereen, Watch Fox Columbia. Just what does it say about the character of your group, the way the season started at 1-4, to be able to end the season here at the Celebration Bowl?
It says that that they are a tough, hard-nosed, resilient bunch, and I'm as proud of this group as I've been of a team. We were 0-2, 1-3, 1-4, something like that. We were down for a long time, fighting our way back, trying to get to 500. Lost the game early. We probably should have won the Alabama A&M game. Did not have the confidence in ourselves at that point to close the deal, and they got a couple scores on us in a couple of uncharacteristic ways, and then from that point, then we go to Clemson. So you get a situation there where you get beat up somewhere in your schedule, you're trying to find yourself back, to even, and they finally did. Our conference schedule being the way it was, we actually were underdogs in probably most of the games that we played in our conference, which is a little bit unusual in the fact that we've been undefeated in our league. So, you get a situation where it took us a little while to really come to the realization that we were at least as good as everybody in our league. All of the games that we won, though, on the road in particular, were like by 3 points or 5 points or something, stuff of that kind. So, it was a fun team to be around because they won close football games. And there's nothing more fun than being on the bus coming back home after a close, hard-nosed victory that we pulled together and won together.
Mr. in the back, far right, Coach.
Coach.
Yes.
Tyler Carr with HBCU.
Yes, Tommy.
Hey,
I can hear you good.
Okay. You've been around HBCU football for a very long time.
Yes, sir.
What was your takeaway with the historic week that HBCUs had with recruiting and early signing day?
I think it's more about the end than the beginning. We've had draft choices. Darius Leonard was during their walk-on at South Carolina State. We've got more NFL guys than any other HBCU right now. I can tell you that we bring in a lot of down-the-line guys. It's more about what's in a guy than what his rankings and all that kind of stuff were. But now at the same time, it is neat to see some of the top guys pledge their abilities to our schools, and I'm excited as all get out to see what happens down the road a piece. If we can continue this momentum, I'm hoping it's the beginning of something in the future that will give us all a little bit of an opportunity to get involved in that game some. But now it's still a league that's a little bit out of our league, but we do feel like our main ability is developing the down the line guys into guys that are just as good as some of these guys will be in 4 years, and that's the pride that we take in our guys, and the fact that we think we get a better guy in the end than they had in the beginning.
Second row to your right.
Hey, Coach, Jared Bell, USA Today. Can you tell us a little bit about the message that you have for your team coming in here, maybe as just some of your players said, being overlooked, overshadowed? What do you tell them, and does any of that draw on what you kind of preach to them throughout the adversity of this season?
The proof's in the pudding of what will happen. We'll get a chance after we've gone through the rest of this weekend to decide, whether or not the message, has been good or not. But I can tell you that I believe in keeping things as normal as possible. We'd like to try to make this week almost exactly like a regular week, as far as how we do things. I don't want to get them out of their norm. So we don't do very much more than what we've done, in our regular season that way. So our routine, they want us at the stadium like 3 hours ahead of time. I said, listen, the longer we're there before, the longer we got to mess up before it's time to play. Okay, let's see if we can get there the latest we can. Let's see if we can get in and get dressed, get out, play a little bit. We get up in the morning, we meet a little bit, we eat a little bit, we go play. Okay, now all that kind of stuff I want to be kind of the same as it would be if we had, a regular season ball game. So all of the stuff that we deal with here, hopefully after the day will go away in a way where we'll only be dealing with the regular routine.
Thank you.
Second row here.
Stan Beckton, NCAA Digital. Coach Pough, I have a question for you.
Yes.
With as many all-MEAC defensive players you have on your side of the ball, how do you feel that will play to your advantage against a high-powered Jackson State offense?
Well, it's not about the individual, it's more about the team. You know, the thing that I like about our football team is we tend to be able to play together in a way that I think kind of makes it all work in a way that it's a little bit better than guys playing just as individuals. Jacoby Durant's a heck of a football player, but he wouldn't be very good if some of the other guys around him didn't do their jobs as well. And then we didn't actually work together, you know, with each other to make sure we make a scheme go. So, you know, Jonathan Saxon, our defensive coordinator, you know, is as big a part of that deal as anybody as far as how we actually go about putting our defense together. And our team as a whole is big, you know, that way. So that's why you hear our guys talking about do what they do in a way that's pretty normal and regular, simply because it's more about the connectivity of the group than it is the group individually.
Second row, coach.
Hi, Kanika Caveras with Next Level Sports and Entertainment. Coach Q, HBCUs are being seen in a new light this year and even this week going into the game, even more so now than ever. Why would this win mean so much to your program, and how is this new attention affecting the players going into the game?
The attention that we get from this particular game for us is not that much different, except for this one little deal today. I don't know if it's something that we sort of preach as a program that our guys have to kind of sort of get used to, you know, as they go through life that way. But at the same time, you know, as I said earlier, you know, it's not about the individual and the attention they get. It's about what you do, you know, and how you go about doing it in the end. So, you know, I don't know if I answered your question because I got lost in the whole deal at some point or other, but I can tell you that these guys, you know, have enjoyed it, and the people that come to South Carolina State, I love for people to talk about the fact that they enjoy playing for Buddy Pough. I do not like for people, I don't want to ever be in a situation where guys say, man, boy, that doggone Buddy Pough, he was a you know what, and I didn't like playing for him, that kind of stuff. So that's what we're trying to make sure that we get to our guys. You know, when we start talking about recruiting, we want them to have come to a place and enjoy being a part and develop in a way where they are, when they're grown men, that I can still have them come by the house and we can have a drink and be fun together. Can I get Rick Henry right here on the front row, please? Is that possible? Michelle? Thank you. Go ahead, Rick. You can ask the question, I can hear.
All right. Well, Buddy, just how valuable is this exposure to your team, especially when it comes to recruiting?
It's valuable. It's almost the same deal. But at the same time, you know, the main message that I want to get out to people is the fact that South Carolina State does a good job of developing its young men in a way where, you know, they don't. I've been trying to not say this, but we don't wear our hats in business. I mean, you know, we don't do things that some people do in other places. So, you know, we feel like it's important that we do things in a way where our guys can go out and earn livings and do things, you know, on a regular basis. Everybody's not going to have the opportunity to do some of the things that some of our people can, some of our top-notch high-ups can do in life. So we want to make sure that we give the regular folk in our, you know, in our program an opportunity to go in and do a nice job of making a living and doing a good job for the rest of their lives.
In the back, coach, standing up.
Hey, Coach, back here. Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. You told us earlier in the week that, you know, this team has never played in a stadium like this, has never played in front of a crowd like this. What do you say to them to try to get them ready? I know you had practice yesterday so they could kind of visualize, but how do you get them prepared for just the moment that's going to be coming tomorrow?
Well, a lot of what we'll try to do that way, we'll start with today. We'll bring them in here and give them a chance to kind of walk around a little bit and look around a little bit and do some of the stuff to acclimate in a way that they won't be so starstruck by the process, by the stadium, by the facility tomorrow. But now we played at Clemson. You know, we played last year at the Tampa Bay place. We played at. We've been our guys have been all over. So, you know, it's not like they're going to be in a situation that's going to be so far out of the norm that, you know, that we be just totally starstruck by the affair. So these guys will be okay. You know, we get in here. I've said a million times to our guys, say, we do all the jumping up and down, we do all the hype stuff, we do all the kind of stuff we do to get ready for a game, and then boom, they kick it off. In about 1 minute, you hit him, he hits you. You know, it becomes 59 more minutes of just regular old football, and the best man is 9 out of 10 gonna win the football game. So you got to make sure that you understand that those 59 minutes are a lot longer than that 1 minute. So the hype part is gonna be a lot shorter than the whether you good enough part. So that's, something that I think will kind of take care of itself, as we get into the game.
Got time for one more?
Get him right there, man. Let me get him right there.
You got Luke too.
Yeah. All right.
Coach, you.
Back here, right here.
Yes.
Talking with some assistant coaches and some players today, when asked about what the culture of the program is, they bring up the hardworking nature, that bulldog way, and they say, yo, coach's first one in, last one out. What motivates you and drives you to be that type of a coach?
I enjoy it. I love doing it. You don't do what we do because somebody makes you do it. You can't make a guy lift weights if he doesn't want to lift weights. You don't make anybody do something that doesn't seem to be a total, and complete joy to them as they go about that process. So the reason I go to work in the morning, I can't sleep. I hadn't had a good night's sleep in maybe 25 years. So at that point, then I get up and I go to work. It's more fun for me to go home, and hang around a little bit and make sure everything's right and then go back to work. That's just kind of how it works. So you don't have to worry about, my office ever getting cold from lack of use because, I'm there all the time. That's just kind of the way we do things. I used to be able to play golf until I got hips and knees and all kind of other stuff. Now all that stuff has kind of gotten uncoordinated in a way that I don't like the way the golf ball looks after I hit it. So at that point, I just go on about the fact to find something else that I can do to entertain myself. Working's one of them. I watch film. I get every NFL tape of every team every week. So I get a chance to see all those guys and what they're doing, the cutting edge stuff they do. So I enjoy watching football. That's what I do.
Coach, we got two more. We'll start here.
Luke Williams, coach from the Black College Sports Page.
Hey, Luke.
How you doing, man?
Fine.
There's a lot of talk this week about this kid signing with Jackson State. I'm gonna go back a little bit. This is like a Darius Leonard related question.
Uh-huh.
Do you have anybody on your team you think now that compares with Darius Leonard, who's now the highest paid linebacker in all of the NFL?
Well, I got something that I hope would be, but that I didn't know Darius was what he was until now myself. So that's kind of a tough deal to evaluate. It's obvious that I'm not necessarily, the brightest or the sharpest tool in the shed when you start talking about, figure out who can. I got guys playing the league right now I didn't think could play for us. So it's one of those kind of deals where you never know about this talent thing. But I'll tell you what, I got a couple guys that can play. We got a couple guys on defense that I'm excited about. I think Dakova's a good player. I think Jablonski Green's a good player. B.J. Davis is good. We got some good players, on defense. But it ain't about them individually and how good of players they are. It's about how good they play together. I don't care where it is. If both of them fitting outside, the guy runs inside of them. They're too fast motor scooters outside, but the ball's going inside. That don't help us very much. So we got to make sure that they all know exactly where they fit as far as what our scheme is concerned.
We'll end it in the front, Coach.
Hey, Buddy, with all the attention that HBCUs are getting now, especially landing some of the nation's top recruits, do you think it will ever reach the level again for SC State where, like back in the 70s, where the Bulldogs had 2 future Pro Football Hall of Famers on the roster?
I hope so, Rick, but I'm going to be honest with you. I was playing with those guys. I was 1 year behind Donnie Shell, and I was 1 year ahead of Harry Carson. I don't know what happened to my class. I don't know why we didn't have a Hall of Fame in our class, but somehow or another we didn't. So we had 2 of the greatest football players in the history of the university, and I didn't even know it. So, I don't know, Rick. I think that sometimes it's still more about, I think we may have a Hall of Famer on our team right now that we just don't know who he is. So let's say, the proof will be in that putting 20 years down the road a piece. If I can figure that out right now, that'd be, let's hope I can say that I would hope that we will start to get better players, but even the guys who end up being those kind of players, they aren't those kind of players that's come out of high school guys. It's the guy who gets snubbed out of high school, who finds out that he doesn't have anything. He gets himself into a situation where he somehow or another gets on a team, and he's always a little bit, snubbed, and a little bit behind, and a little bit this, that, and the other. And he keeps working at it, and he gets better and better, and he passes the guy. It's the old story of the doggone tortoise in the head. Those guys are just different that way. So that's what makes the great players of the world. So I'm telling you, I don't think it's big a deal about recruiting as it is about development.
Coach, I think we got them all. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Coach.